Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Chris Grant Podcast, aka the Schmo Rogan Podcast. We coined that one on the Ryan Shields episode. Not that I don't want you to watch this episode, but make sure you check that one out. We talk about Brad Pitt for a good 5 minutes in the beginning, and it just gets worse from there. No, I'm kidding. It's a good episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about my love for comedy. Yeah, I love comedy. Been doing it for a while now, and I want to talk about why. Why would a 45-year-old guy decide, at 43, why would he decide to go do stand-up comedy? A lot of you have probably asked that. What is this guy doing? Why does he keep doing this? So you're going to find out those answers. Before we get into that, though, speaking of my hair, I want to give a shout out to Blondie's on the north side. She is the one responsible for keeping my hair looking good. And you might be asking yourself, well, why are you giving her a shout out right now? And I'll tell you why. Because she's out of town right now. She's on a cruise and can't cut my hair. So this is what my hair looks like without Blondie. See all this 417 back here? Yeah, she's going to take care of that for me and get me back to good. No, I'm kidding. I'm proud of this, man. I'm proud of this mullet. It is if you know my story closely, you'll know that it's a success mullet. I started growing it, as a celebration, and I don't know. I like it. It fits me, maybe too well, and that's kind of sad. But anyway, got some gray here. I like that. Makes me look kind of distinguished, and helps me fool some people. Not fooling you guys. And then I want to let you guys know, I got like a 7 head underneath there. Look at that. Look at that. My aunt said, "Hey, have you ever thought about going bald? Maybe just shaving it all off?" No, I haven't. Okay. Check out Blondie's North Springfield, basically 44 in Kansas, just a little further down Kansas off of 44. She does a great job, all that stuff. Offers all kinds of stuff for women, hair dye, all that stuff, massage. She does it all. It's like a day spa. So, thanks again, Blondie. I'm looking forward to your return. Also want to give a shout out to TNR Animal Rescue. My friends Amber and Holland helped me out with a couple kittens earlier this week. So I want to thank them. Go check them out. They're a really, really cool nonprofit. I hope to have them on the podcast at some point. Check them out on Facebook, though. Basically, they help rescue feral cats and home them somehow, whether they tame them and get them to another home, whether they get them to a position where they can go to a shelter, whatever the case. A lot of these rescues out there, will scratch, bite, claw, do whatever, and they're just trying to love on these cats and get them to a good home. So please go over to their Facebook, give them a like. They're doing great things right here in Springfield, and not a lot of people know about stuff like that, which is one of the things, one of the reasons I do this podcast. If you want to advertise on this podcast, I'm not sure why, but if you do, get a hold of me. I'm kidding, of course. We do reach quite a few people, actually, and I think we're going to start reaching more. And I think it would be an affordable choice for your ad dollars. Plus, I would be willing to then sit down with you and talk about, maybe how we could shine up your other stuff you have going on, your SEO with Google, your Google listing, your Facebook. I can just take a look at it and let you know what I think of it, give you a few pointers, or maybe you might wind up giving me a few pointers. I don't know. But if you have any interest in supporting or advertising on this show, let me know. All right, before anybody calls me out, yes, I sewed this on here just like Biggie said. If you want to see the inside, it will cost you. Why comedy? Why would a 45-year-old man decide to do comedy? Well, it starts with DJing. I DJ'd for many years, and I'm a turntablist, so I scratch, I mix, I do all that kind of stuff. which I think, is different than, obviously it's different than other kinds of DJing. It's I'm not a karaoke guy. I don't push buttons. I actually do stuff and produce and all that on the fly. So there's a higher skill level involved in that, which is why I was able to do it for so long and be successful with it. But with that comes some things that aren't good, though. So as you get older, you start to prioritize, you start to, see that other things matter more than certain things you're doing. So I transitioned out of DJing to go into retail. So I opened a record store, record business. I sell cassette tapes. I sell VHS. I sell laser disc. I sell CDs, all kinds of stuff. So, I wanted to transition out of that nightlife. I would get home at if I was in Branson, now I love Branson. I love my Branson gigs. They treated me very well in Branson. But when I had to go out there and DJ, I wasn't getting home. If I really hurried, I'd probably get home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's just too difficult. At this age, I don't really want to be out until 3 in the morning anymore. So, after DJing, naturally slowed down as I opened the retail shop and didn't have as much time for it. Also, I have a child, so I had an agreement in Branson that I would only DJ on the weekends I didn't have my child. And I was always extremely grateful that the management down in Branson appreciated what I did enough to allow me to do that. A lot of places won't take that into consideration. They won't work around your schedule, especially if you're only there a couple nights a month. So again, thank you guys so much for allowing me to continue my career. I'm shouting the paddle wheel out, Leanne and Larry Milton. You guys were wonderful in that and helped me enjoy raising my child. So I definitely appreciate that. One of the big reasons comedy is so nice is because it starts early at night. Typically open mics start no later than 8 o'clock p.m. So you can get there, you can sign up at 7 o'clock or 7:30. You can get on, if you want to leave early, get there early, sign up on the list early, and you can get out of there early. So I could still be in bed by, realistically probably 9 o'clock if I go to an open mic, if I wanted to. Now, I'm not going to bed that early, these days, but the point is that that's much earlier than 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I need that. Comedy is also very much a social thing for me, and I think a lot of other open micers would say the same thing. It's fun to go out and do stuff. It's fun to go out and do stuff with people hang out, know that people are going to be there to hang out with you and make friends, do all the stuff that people like to do. And so, it happens multiple times a week too. So you can go out. You can go out almost every night of the week for an open mic, especially in larger cities. But here in Springfield, we've got quite a few throughout the week, too. Some are regional. We've got a couple new ones coming on the scene. In fact, this Monday, February 3rd, Kevin Lowry is going to be doing an open mic on Commercial Street, a new one, at Q Inoteca. So there's always something to do. And I think that's important too. You got to have a social network. You got to have social support. You got to find people. I don't want to join a bowling league, right? I like the environment. The bar environment, the club environment. I've been in it for a long time, but I like doing something different in that environment now. So that's another thing to consider, is that it gives you something to do. It gives you something to put your energy into, and it's a positive thing to put your energy into. Some of you who have seen my comedy may disagree, and that's okay too. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, certainly, but to me it is a positive thing, because I'm not just looking at the results, right? And you are. That's what you're supposed to do. The audience, the jokes are the result of the work, right? So the audience is there for the results. So I am there for the results. I'm there for the laughter and all that stuff, but it's much deeper than that for me. When you do comedy, you've got a process. So you got to think of jokes. You got to come up with stuff. You can't steal them. You've got to dig deep in your soul and process things and figure things out in order to come up with that product that's going to make somebody laugh. That process is, really fun to me. It's really good to me. I can, again, it's all about finding something to do, staying out of trouble, and also self-improvement, self-awareness. You have to, think about a lot of stuff to be able to write good jokes. So in that process, you really have to become self-aware. And it's a good thing for self-improvement. It really is. So, another thing you might find me doing is patronizing a local restaurant with my notebook, and I'll order breakfast, and sit there and scribble down jokes, scribble down ideas for jokes, premises, things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a hobby, it started as a hobby. I do it, I guess I can say professionally. I've made money doing it. So, I would say I'm still an amateur professional. Is that a thing? I say that because I want to leave myself room to grow, That's why I say that. A lot of people think I dumb myself down. And maybe I do. Maybe it comes across that way. But really, I just never want to say that I've got it. Because I do always believe there's room to grow. And in my mind, if I start talking, like I've got something, then I'm shutting myself off from that room to grow. So I'm just careful about speaking that way. But yeah, the process, the writing process is so important. It takes some time. It takes your mind off things, or it puts your mind on things that you need to be thinking about. So that's another advantage, and another thing that I get out of stand-up comedy. On the subject of, stand-up being a support network, I've kind of likened it to something like AA, right? A 12-step meeting of sort. I even have jokes about that in my act. I talk about how comedy's cooler than AA because they only let you talk for 3 minutes at AA, and you could talk for 5 in comedy. So they give you more stage time in comedy than they do at an AA meeting. Now, have I ever been to AA? Well, I can't tell you because that would be anonymous. But I can tell you that maybe I wanted to start a good poker game. So who knows? Who knows the truth on that? But no, it's just good to be around people who have the same commonality, right? And the reason I'm even talking about AA and all that stuff is I did used to drink. I used to drink when I DJ'd and stuff like that. And I can say that I have not drank for 7 years. Yeah, 7 years sober from alcohol. I can hear you guys clapping out there. Yeah, thank you. It's not easy. I know a lot of people who have been in recovery, are in recovery. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I'm in recovery. I just believe I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. I have no desire to go out there and get drunk or anything like that. I have found ways to cope with that. So, this is one of those ways, guys. One of my favorite things about drinking alcohol back in the day was that I could go to any bar in the United States, belly up to the bar, grab a drink, have a few, and by the end of the night, I've made some new friends. I'm talking to people. It's a social thing, and I'm having a good time, or what I thought was a good time. And we all know what comes from drinking and all the pitfalls of that. So, obviously, there were the negatives too. And when you get older, man, those hangovers last a lot longer. So you don't want that. So for a long time, and a lot of people struggle with this in recovery, there's not a lot to do, and it's not only that, but people in recovery, let me tell you this too, people in recovery are professional partiers, okay? Like, they don't mess around. That's why they got into recovery, okay? So going from partying professional and doing all that crazy stuff to nothing and not having, I'm not going to say you don't have any fun, because you can certainly have fun in recovery. And they put on events and things like that. But the level of excitement and, I don't know, just the things you do in those events and things like that are wildly different. And for me, being a DJ, being in that life and all that stuff, I just enjoy being around a level of excitement. I think I can argue that carrying around a notebook at a bar and looking like a nerd in front of everybody is still not a high level of excitement at this point. That's kind of what comedy is to me. It's kind of like a bowling league for nerds. We all carry our notebooks around. We all talk premises. We all talk jokes. We'll run jokes by each other before we throw them up on the stage. It's just a good time. It's a good social setting. And, just like a 12-step group, if you start coming around, you hang around, you get to know people, and you make friends. Legit friends that you hang out with outside of it. And, maybe you start a writing group. We've done that a few times. We've sat and written. Or maybe you just go hang out. Or maybe you take a comedy road trip. I've done that too. So there's lots of things that can blossom from comedy. Another thing comedy's done for me is provide an outlet for my creativity and my mouth. I am naturally long-winded. I'm so sorry to the people who have to deal with it sometimes. I'm trying to get better. I just have a lot to say. My neurons in my mind are always firing, and I just, I always think we're running out of time. We just got to keep going, keep making stuff, keep creating. And so comedy's really helped me to, again, process those thoughts, maybe shrink them down a little bit. I think I have an interesting perspective to offer as well. And I think sometimes, I might say something in conversation that may come off a little strange or a little like, what? But I've learned that I can take the same thing and say it on stage and get a laugh, right? So whoever said set and setting, they knew what they were talking about. When you are a turntable DJ, you have a ton of equipment to load in and load out of a gig. My typical load for paddle wheel in Branson was a couple 12-inch speakers. I had a subwoofer under my table. I had 2 turntables. I had a mixer. I had a computer. I had vinyl records. I had all kinds of stuff with me. Okay? And, in comedy, typically all you got to carry is a notebook. Like most comedy venues you're going to go to, or anywhere that hosts comedy, has a mic and a PA already set up. And even if they don't, all you're doing is a vocal and maybe like a Spotify playlist on your phone, if you have music at your show. So even if you need a PA system, you don't need a huge PA system for vocals and Spotify. So the amount of stuff you have to lug around is so much less than DJing. However, so is the pay. It's a lot less. But it's a passion project. I love it. It's art. Something else I love about comedy is it gives me the opportunity to be creative and be involved in something in the local creative community. I've been a part of a lot of projects locally. Most of the time I work alone. Sometimes I work with other people in projects. And it just gives me a chance to continue down that path. Now, as a DJ and in other projects I've been a part of, my creativity has been limited because I'm always, playing somebody else's art, or putting out somebody else's art. Even in DJing, even if I remix something on the fly, I'm still creating a derivative work instead of an original piece. Okay? So, basically my life took a few turns, and I was kind of left with, what do I do now? Artistically. I really didn't feel like continuing to go out and hustle DJ gigs and stuff like that, and I had some time and I was doing okay, so I thought maybe I'll try comedy. And so I did. And I've just gone for it ever since. I got my first George Carlin tape in 6th grade, and I always loved comedy. Ever since then, I loved how I felt like George Carlin was just exposing everybody, telling the truth. And if you go watch him now, guess what? It still holds up. Okay? George Carlin was waking me up. And you might say, hey man, this guy's parents, what were they letting him, why were they letting him listen to George Carlin in 6th grade? Well, they weren't. I was hiding it from them. Okay. And I'll tell you this too, it was much better than the NWA tape I was hiding from them. One of the other things I think is really great about stand-up comedy is I've been able to impart some of my DJ skills onto the comedy community. And what I mean by that is I've been able to produce shows. I've gotten into the business side of comedy a little bit, just because I have noticed in our local comedy scene, or probably a year or so ago, I noticed, hey, there's not a lot of stage time available for me. Extra stage time. It's like I kept getting little 5-minute spots on open mics, but if you want to progress, you got to do longer time. And I wanted to do longer time to improve my art, improve my understanding of comedy, and progress as a comedian. So I decided to start booking my own shows, and of course you got to have other people on those shows. So yeah, I started producing shows. Once again, shout out to Kevin Lowry for offering up Q Inoteca for my first show, and we did a great job there. Everybody had a good set. Russell Henley, that was the first time he ever headlined, did an amazing job. I learned a lot. We packed the place. So we had a great show. Every comic got paid, and it was really cool because if you've been around here for a little while, we do have an independent comedy scene, and there have been shows. Well, I guess that's not even fair to say. There's always been independent shows around here. I just added, my spin on it, right? So shouts to everybody else who's promoting and putting on indie shows. You know what? I'm not special. I'm just doing the same thing you're doing. But I believe that is a good addition to the comedy community. God, I need you, Blondie. Where are you at? Get off that boat. It gets worse as I mess with it. So in producing these shows, what I found is that we can provide opportunities for local comics, and what's really cool too is we've had some other comics who have started here locally, who have really done some cool stuff, who are also willing to come back and help strengthen the lineup of these shows to help our local scene. That's really cool. I'll also say that if you look at any of my shows, if you look at past flyers, you're going to see that I have never been a headliner, and there's a reason for that, because I don't think I've got the material. I don't have the time. Could I do 30 minutes on stage? Sure. I could stand up there and talk and make you laugh for most of that time probably, but a 30-minute set from me right now. There's going to be a lot of filler. We're going to be doing a lot of crowd work. We're going to get to know each other pretty well. And I'm going to leave that to, more experienced comedians at this point. So the first show I did at QNOteca, I was the opener, I think. I think I was the very first comedian on. Maybe not. I have to look back, but I know I wasn't, I didn't put myself near the top. So what I've done, is I just I separated myself from my skill level and looked at my skill level objectively and decided where I thought I should be in these shows. And even then, maybe I was a little biased. Maybe I put myself above somebody who, is at least equal. There's some comics in the scene that I would argue, and I don't compare myself much. Okay, I only compare myself when I have to make this decision. But I think there's some comics in the scene that are just right about the same level. Of course, they've got different material and stuff like that. But as far as skill level, I would say that we're pretty equal. And it could be arguable that either of us could get a certain spot on a lineup. Speaking of that, I got a show Saturday, February 8th in Joplin, Missouri. That's going to be happening at JB's Lounge. It's Puff Puff Laugh. That's with Parker Willis. He's hosting that, and we've talked a little bit. Big shouts to Cameron Johnson down there in Joplin. He's also helped Parker with Puff Puff Laugh. Yeah, Puff Puff Laugh. He's been a big part of the comedy scene, not only in Joplin, but also in Springfield. And God, the guy's got like a ton of TikTok followers now. It's insane. So he's doing really well down there. Got to shout him out. But yeah, I'll be. That'll be like it'll be my second show in Joplin. So that should be fun. Then we're bringing Parker Willis back up here for the same kind of show at the Treehouse Lounge on February 21st up here in Nixa, Missouri. And we're also going to have Russell Henley coming from Joplin for that show. So it's going to be awesome to work with Russell again at a show. He kills it. You guys are going to love him. And guess what? For that show, I'm going to offer it on this podcast episode 2. I'm going to give you a coupon code right here. High Five. High Five's going to get you $5 off your ticket when you... can't do it. I'm no Vanna White. But yeah, High Five will get you $5 off your ticket when you go to heavyheadsrecords.com under the events tab. Of course, I'll leave it in the description for you too. But yeah, take that $5 off. Now, let me just give you a little bit of details about the show. At the Treehouse, they're going to have a free dab bar for you. And also, you're going to get a free pre-roll when you show up. So, that takes your ticket price down to $20, and you get those amenities, and you get 8 comics as well. So come out to the Treehouse, grab your tickets again, heavyheadsrecords.com under the events tab. Look up Puff Puff Laugh or JB's in Joplin on Facebook. I'm sure they've got plenty of links out there for you to get those tickets too. I went to one of those shows a couple weeks ago just to check out what it looks like down there, check out the scenery, check out the stage setup, just all that kind of stuff. I had a great time. The comics were extremely funny. Had a couple NWA comics up there. That's Northwest Arkansas in this case. Not the tape that I hid from my parents, but great comics from NWA. In fact, they're having one tonight. I know they've got a great lineup. I think they've got 4 or 5 comics. So look on Facebook. You're already on the internet watching this. I'll put something in the description for that too. So it's hard to really quantify my love for comedy, and break it down into a podcast episode for you like we're trying to do here. But I think that, I don't know, I think we're doing an okay job. I mean, there's so much more I could say. Here's what I want to say, to any of you out there. If this resonates with you, if you think, oh, okay, I identify with that, give it a try. If you think you got some jokes, write them out, take them up to an open mic and give them a shot. See what hits, see what doesn't, and see if you get hooked or not. I can say the first few laughs I got really, really made me understand what comedy was about, and I got hooked. I wanted more, and it's just so fun. When you're up there, when you're able to essentially play puppeteer with a crowd, and know that everything you say, if you say it correctly, is going to work, and it's going to get those people laughing. They're going to be on your side, and you're going to be able to leave the stage with a sense of accomplishment. That's worth so much, and it gives you a good hangover. You just want to keep doing it. You want to keep writing. You want to keep thinking. You want to keep self-improving. And I think that's great. You got to learn. Sometimes for me to write a joke and to write it correctly, I have to research a topic to make sure I don't sound like an idiot on stage. My English teachers from high school and college would be super proud of me because I finally understand, some of the stuff they were trying to teach me. And, writing, I always thought I was a good writer, and I am, as far as the creativity and all that. But technically, I have learned that I wasn't the best writer, so it's literally made me go back and become a better technical writer. I put semicolons in the right place. I put commas in the right place. I'm grading my own work now, just like a college professor would, because I care about it. It makes a difference. If you say something wrong, if you replace or you say the wrong word in a joke, or you just don't have it exactly right, sometimes that can control whether you get a laugh or not. And if you're doing it, from a business perspective, laughs translate into dollars. So if you're getting laughs, then that means that's going to lead you to that paycheck, right? So that's not why I do it. I'm not in this for the money. If I was in it for the money, I just go DJ. But I do like to monetize things if I can. Like I said, I like helping the other comics make a little bit of money. So yeah, I don't think money's bad. And it takes money to make money too, or it takes money to break even, however you want to talk about it. But we did the show out in Ozark at the historic morgue, and I think that's a perfect example of the art that's involved in this business, because that was a concept that I had. I had wanted to go see it myself, and it was kind of a personal interest too. So I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I want to go see this place. I kind of want to stay there overnight, and I kind of want to, maybe do a blog entry about it or something like that. So how can I mix all those things together and make it work for myself, but also make it work for everybody else too? So I thought about it, and I thought, hey, let's have a Halloween comedy show there. First of all, let's think about comedy and the juxtaposition of, comedy a lot of times is putting one thing against another, right? So how funny is it to have a comedy show at a morgue, right? That alone is pretty funny in itself. Now, I also knew that a lot of people locally would want to see the place, so they would get an opportunity to come and tour this facility for a nominal ticket price, and they'd also get to go in there and just enjoy the show. Have a comedy show. Now, we had Corbin LeMaster at the show. He was our headliner, and Corbin LeMaster is Mark Norman's touring opener. So Corbin LeMaster has toured all over the country doing big theaters. He did the Galois here when Mark Norman played the Galois. And again, Corbin was nice enough to come back and do this show. I'm sure he was into it. I know he was into it. He loved the concept, but he also knew that he was helping us out. And again, I appreciate that. And I want to double down on that and say I appreciate the faith that he had in me to put that show on, because I've worked with higher level performers. They are not going to do shows they think are going to suck, right? Because when they do that, it lowers their brand. That's not the idea. When you do shows, you want to elevate your brand. You want people to think you're a great comic. You want it to be a good time. You want people to talk about it. You want people to say, oh my gosh, man, I saw Corbin LeMaster at that show and he killed it. Oh my gosh, man, I saw Chris Grant at that show and he did a great job opening for everybody else. I'm kidding. I kill it sometimes. Come out to the show. High five. Psh. I really try not to get too personal when I do these, but I do feel like I need to say something before I get out of here. A lot of things have been going on. I just want to say, if you're talking badly about me, or if you've said anything bad about me, I want you to understand that I have had to work extremely hard to get where I am today. Okay? And I'm not even saying I'm like at any crazy high level or anything. I'm just saying I've had to work hard to not be in survival mode for a lot of my life, right? And I know a lot of you have too. I'm not discounting that at all. But what I'm saying too is that if you're talking badly about me, you're really talking badly about your own community, because I was essentially raised by this community. I was essentially raised by certain people who saw something in me, who gave me opportunities, man. And I took those opportunities, and I've been very grateful for those opportunities and grateful for those people for not gatekeeping, for allowing me to be creative, for allowing me to grow as a person, for helping me grow as a person. It's always been there, It's always been inside me. We all have a good side and a bad side, right? That good side always has wanted to shine through. Always. And there have been people who have set the stage to help me figure out how to do that. Okay? So thank you for them. Now, that's just the community part. Now, I also want to talk about our schools, right? I got a degree from OTC, an associate's degree. And so if you're talking badly about me, you're talking badly about the education that I got from OTC, because I use all of that on a daily basis. It was in electronic media production. I also interned with Lou Whitney downtown in Springfield. He's one of those people who didn't gatekeep me and gave me a chance and got me into audio. I then switched my degree program because somebody at a local TV station said, hey, your degree program is going to yield you about $10 an hour at the TV station once you graduate. I got the same degree, man. You might want to rethink that. And I actually took that guy's advice. So I changed my degree program, went ahead and got the full associates, and shot over to MSU. Okay? So if you're talking badly about me, then you're talking badly about the education I got at MSU, which I use on a daily basis. Okay? I took some radio classes there, which helped me to do some of the stuff I'm doing right now. It helped me when I was on the radio. I learned DJing by myself. By the way, that was just kind of what gave me the aptitude. I thought, okay, I'm already running a DJ company. How can I expand on this? So my major was media production. My minor was marketing. So I could literally take everything I was learning in class and apply it directly to my life, basically the day I learned it. Okay? So if you're talking badly about me, you're talking badly about that process. You're talking badly about all the stuff I learned at MSU. Okay? I was raised by this community. I was raised by the 417. That's all I'm saying, guys. I've worked extremely hard to get where I'm at. I'm not perfect. There are things that you could say bad about me. I could give you a list of things you could say bad about me that I would say bad about me. But overall, man, I'm a good dude. I'm really trying to help this community. I'm really trying to help other comics. I'm trying to get my stage time too. I want to see what kind of cool experiences I can have, and I want to see if I can take it to the next level for myself. Just compete with myself and see what happens. That's typically what I do anyway. I stay in my lane. Anybody who knows me knows that I just keep to myself and I stay in my lane most of the time. However, when you cut over into my lane, especially after I've been there driving for hours, I can have an issue with it. I really can, especially when it's something I love and value and I'm passionate about. It does cause an issue, and I think it would for other people too. So anyway, off that soapbox, I'm not angry, I'm not upset about anything. I just want you guys to know where I'm coming from and why I enjoy doing this so much and why I am passionate about comedy. It's deeper than some might think, and that's the point of this episode. It's not just some stupid thing I want to do. I told you I was long-winded. With all that being said, I just want to thank you for checking out this episode. I really do hope you come join us at the Treehouse Lounge February 21st. If you're around the Joplin area, come see me February 8th. I'll have all kinds of stuff to talk about on stage for sure. I may even be addressing, certain recent events. I've been writing a few jokes. We'll see what happens with that. See how crazy things get. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this podcast. I've talked to a few people in person, and they've told me they've watched it and enjoyed it. And they told me they watched the whole thing. I couldn't believe that. So thank you guys for that, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I haven't known how this was going to go. So again, another passion project, another thing I'm really, I just want to do something to help me express myself, get all this stuff out so I don't annoy you when I see you in public. All right? Jeez. Guys, Chris Grant here. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.